Hello, I'm Professor Parth, and today we're going to be discussing Office 365. And particularly in Office 365, we're going to be talking about Word, which is where you can write documents and research papers and stuff like that. So without any further ado, let's get started. I really don't like boring you guys with long intros. So first off, you need to download Word. And assuming you have Word downloaded, we can continue with the tutorial. If you don't, then I'll link something in the description for you to help download Word. But let's actually open up Word. So one thing is if you download all of Office 365 Suite, then we can just go here and then we can search it up, okay? And click Word from there. Or if we wanted to, we could go here and we could search up Word. You might want to give it a moment. Okay, I'm not waiting for you. So we open up Word, and that's going to take us to this page. And so down here you can see my recent things from school, and you can also see what we have here. So new would be making some type of new document. And you can have a blank document, which is what most people tend to do, or you can have like certain styles or themes, like a resume or like a cover letter or like brochures. And like if you want to make a brochure, then you can choose like these templates for you. And that can be really helpful. You can just search some stuff if you want to like make, I don't know, a birthday card or something like that. It's really helpful. Here we have the open feature. So here we have the recent things, stuff that's shared with you through Word. So like Google Docs, if you've heard of that, you can share stuff and you can work on it simultaneously. And Office 365 also has that capability. And you can also search on this computer. You can add a place on this computer for you to like save files, or you can browse this computer, which is where you go into here, into your file explorer, and you can search for folders there. But for now, let's go to home, and let's make a blank document. So most of you will have something similar to this. Some of you might not have these little gray L's. If you don't, that's perfectly normal. I just like to have those to signal that those are my 1-inch margins, which is something that most of my teachers require. So I just like to have those. It's a preset. And so basically what you do in Word is you see this little thing, right? Where this is like pulsing. It's a line that's pulsing. So there you can type. So you can type random letters and something like that. Don't be alarmed by the red. I'll get to that in a minute. But for right now, let's say, hello, I am Professor Parth. So that's a sentence with proper punctuation and everything. And let's say that we wanted to center this. So what we do is we would highlight it either by doing Control A or just using the left click button and then just moving across my trackpad like so. And then so once it's highlighted, you can either, you have a small menu up here, and I'll get to what everything in here does in a second. But if you want to, but I'm going to talk about layout, which is right here. So this is on the left-hand side, align left, which you can use a keyboard shortcut Control L. You can click this, center, Control E, and that moves it to center. You can have it aligned to the right, which is Control R. Or you can have it as justified. But honestly, you don't really ever use justified. So these will be the main three that you use. And so let's highlight this again. You saw how there was a little pop-up. And this is mostly just, if I can see it again. So basically you can change the font. And you have all these fonts here. And if you want to download them as well, you can. And there's just a lot to choose from. And you can just go through Let's do, Bell MT. I've never heard of that before. And that just changes the font. And then also, you have this, where you can change the size. Most of the time it starts out as 11, but you can make it go fairly quite large. And that's how you just click it. But if you do want it to save, then you have to actually click on it, and like that. And then this is also just to increase the font size. If you don't feel like doing that, you just want to do it in increments, that's something else. And then this is a phonetic guide. So we wait for it to load. This is just something that just helps you. You really won't ever use this in school. I have personally never used this, so just don't worry about this. So then we also have the format painter. You don't need to worry about that. You can comment on it, and how you comment is, so basically, hello, I like your intro. So you can just comment or leave feedback for someone in any case. I just did nothing. Hi. And it automatically. And if you want to save all of this so far, you would do Control S. And let's call this tutorial.docs. And you can have it saved in your OneDrive. That's my OneDrive. Or you can choose in Documents, or you can go to More Locations. And in More Locations, you could browse, and like if we wanted to save it into one of my folders over here. So that's something that we could do. But for right now, I'm just going to save it in Documents. So on with that, we're going to use some 3 really important tools. Bolding, which you just click this right here. There is a keyboard shortcut, but I don't remember that. Italicize, just click here. Underline, right there. Highlight, and if you want to change the highlighter color, you can click here. You can change it to any of these colors or no color. And then this is how you change the color of your text, the color of the font. And like you have all of these, and you can also like click into gradient and more colors if you want more. But really, this is plenty, especially for just a beginner. And then we also have the ability to bullet. So like that's now a bullet point. It would make more sense if I had multiple of these. And then we also have like bulleted numbers. And then down here, if we don't highlight anything, and you left click, you have cut, copy, paste. You have keep source formatting. Which is basically just applying to every single doc that you have. You can edit your comments, you can reply to comments, and you can delete comments from right here. You don't want to go there. You can choose a font, which paragraph, and right here, this is something that's really helpful. Smart lookup. So basically, I'm clicking on the word professor, and if I wanted to know what that word is, then it shows up right here. I'm not cheating or anything. It shows up right here. It's built within Google. I mean, not Google. Sorry. It's built in Word. And that's something that's really helpful. And you can see pictures of professors. Unfortunately, I don't look like them. It would be quite fun too. You get Wikipedia results. Rate my professor. Oh no. Okay, we're not going there. But like it just was something really helpful if you just want to quickly reference a word. And like your teacher gave you something to read about Shakespeare and you didn't really understand what shanty meant. You can just search it up right here. And if we wanted to, we can search up what shanty means. A small, crudely built shack. So it's something that's really helpful. So those are just like the really basic stuff, but just on the home page. There's also more stuff that you can have, but to be honest, that's just what you're going to be using on a regular basis. And then also you have your copy and paste, which is Control C, Control V, but you probably know that. And then you also have the ability to add a cover page and insert. So this is where you can just insert a bunch of things, like if you wanted a cover page, then you can choose from here. You would insert a blank page, you would have a page break, you would insert a table, you would insert a picture, and how you would insert a picture is basically by just searching your device or searching from stock photos or online. And if you wanted to insert a table, what you would do is, let's make a 5x5, and that's how you would insert a table. And you can also choose different table designs. And so like if I wanted something like that, or maybe if we went with like, ooh, that's a really nice color, I'm gonna do more with my tables like that. And like you just play around with it. And then you can also like change the borders, like paint down the shade. But like for 90% of the time, you're not gonna have to do that. Even if you have a black and white table, your teachers will probably be fine with it. And then you can also insert a 3D model, and you can insert shapes, icons, and charts. You can also screenshot your Word doc. You can like add a link. So like if I wanted to add a link to something, I could put in the link and I could have like, this is a link to go to X place, like a hyperlink. You know, bookmark something, you can cross-reference something. And cross-referencing is really helpful. And if you want to insert a header, header is something that you do a lot. So let's do something that has just one column. Type here, and then Parth's essay. And then the footer, you also have something in the footer. And if you want to add a page number, you can add at the bottom of the page or on the top of the page. And page number will be right here. If you want to put in the date and time, then you can do that. And then you can also go into design, which is basically how it looks. You can just play around here. It will show you a bunch of things. You can click randomly and do stuff like that. And if you ever do something that you don't like, so let's say I did this, then that doesn't really change anything in the header. So like if you did that and you didn't like it, you can just do Control Z. And that's how you undo. And then you have layout, and here's where you would adjust your margins. So normal, most teachers will have you have just 1%. I mean 1 inch. Sorry. And if you ever wanted to like change it, then this is where you could do it. Now, if you wanted a custom margin, you could set it yourself right here. You can just change at the top. Maybe if you want 0 inches, at the bottom 1.5, which is a very unconventional format. Then you can just edit it here. And references, just like if you want to update your table of contents is something that's really helpful. And that's like if you have a really long research paper or something, and you just want to do it all at the end because you weren't smart in the beginning, you would just go here and you could have a manual table where you could fill in yourself, or you could have an automatic table where it would fill in for you as it goes along. So like your heading would be the name of the page, and it would automatically see what page it was on. And then if you also wanted to insert a citation, this is something I found really helpful over the past few years. And you have APA, you have Chicago style, and I think you also have MLA. Yeah, you have MLA, you have all of those. I've never heard of them, but like if you wanted them, and you just insert stuff right here for like referencing. And this is really helpful when you have like a science paper or maybe something that you're analyzing. This is going to be really helpful. Mailings, you just have like stuff here. You really don't ever use this as a beginner. And if you ever do, you can search up more integrated tutorials online. And then you also have review. And then you can search up for a thesaurus, which is also something you can do right here, I forgot to mention. Well, not there, but like here. If you search up synonyms, it will be a thesaurus. for I, me, myself, I, myself, I for one, I person, something like that. And so that's also something that's really helpful. You also have read aloud, where you read the entire page aloud. So suppose that was something. And if you want to translate something, say into Japanese, which I'm actually learning at the time, so like A would go to Japanese letter A, which is this. And then, why do I have Japanese? Oh, I probably installed Japanese. So that's probably not going to be there for you. And like you can also add in notes from OneNote if you have it, like I do. And then you can also block authors, accept suggestions and reject suggestions. And view is just how you view your page in general. So like you can focus on everything and it's going to change like that, right? And then if you wanted to go out of it, you could just hit the escape key and then you can read it vertically like you normally are used to, or you could read like a book just side to side. And then the immersive reader is just something that just like immerses you in it. I really don't like it that much, but to each man his own. And then you just close immersive reader from there. And then like if you wanted grid lines, then I suppose you could have those. If you wanted a ruler at the top, which is something I do like to have, I don't know why I turned that off. And that just shows you how big your page is. And you also have a navigation page to the side. So like if this was a really long document, I wanted to search up hello, then it would find out hello. And like if you wanted to, it's basically like Control F or Control G on Google Chrome, except it's more integrated into Word. And you can also change your file like viewing thing. So this is currently in read mode, how you would read it like as if it's in a book. This is print layout. This is how it would look if you printed this page out. And then you also have web layout. So it's basically just how it would appear on a web page. No margins, no stuff like that. But that's just, and then you can also change the zoom. I like to have it a smaller zoom, like that. But you can also make it up to a really big zoom if you, for some reason. I'm sure you have for a legitimate reason. You also change like the page width, and you could also view pages side by side if you wanted to. I mean, not pages, documents. And you can also scroll through both of said documents at the same time if you wanted to. And you also have macros here. I really don't use those a lot. But that's mainly everything that you would use on the top bar, except for the file. Also, you might want to turn on autosave. And then you can just upload your file onto OneDrive and it'll automatically save it. And it takes a few seconds. I'm turning it off again. And then so Control Z and Control Y for redo. And then this is going to be file. This is where you see most of your stuff. You have the 3 that was in the home page when I started talking about this, but you also have info. So it's just information about your document, who made it, who last modified it, like tags, how long to edit, sizes, like if you want to inspect it, and just a bunch of useful things. You can save it, just Control S, or you could save as, and save as is where you would save it into a folder and like have it renamed and stuff like that. And you can also print it. So this is how you can also print your thing. You can switch print all pages, or if you just wanted a few pages, print one side or print double-sided if you wanted to be collated, which is basically it would print 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, rather than 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3. You can also choose which orientation it's printed in and what size paper it's going to be printed on and what the margins are and how many pages per sheet there will be. You can also share with other fellow members if they also have a OneDrive account. Keep in mind, you do have to have a OneDrive account if you want this to be shared. And like I could just enter in someone's name, or I could use Outlook or send them a copy of the link. And let's go back. We also export this to a PDF, which I find really helpful because a lot of science institutions, they only accept PDFs, they don't accept Word docs. You can edit in Word, but you have to export it to PDF, so that's something that's really helpful. You can also transform it. So you would just transform this to a web page. We're not going to do that right now. But that's something if you ever get into web development, you want to just export that. And then the close is you close it. And that's basically Word. And that's just really what Word is. Yeah, it's like the basics. That should get you covered for the first few weeks of school. It'll get you through. And if you ever need like more in-depth about a certain topic, like inserting one specific thing, then you can leave it in the comments. I'll be sure to respond to it. But you can also search other tutorials on YouTube or just ask your teacher, professor, student, fellow student, or anyone like that. So with that, bye for now. I hope you have a great day.